Wow. All right, you guys, it is another week. It is me, Donovan Sadiq, and it is today, the official day. Today is January 30th, 2022. Before I get started, I want to give a shout out to my knucklehead nephew, AJ. He's playing basketball, and I taught him everything he knows. His parents are both in the military, so his dad is stationed in Mississippi, and his mom is stationed here in California. So that gives me access to my nephew, and he's one of the few kids left in our family that is of age where you kind of need to help them and groom them and be an example to them. And that gets into another question when I talk about whenever I talk about when women talk about the dad is not there, the father's not there. Okay, where's the uncle? Where's the great uncle? Where's the grandfather? Where are all these other, positive men in these young men's lives? But, we love to make excuses for, why our single mother homes are failing. And yet, again, that's another story. But, and it's kind of funny when I play basketball or I coach basketball, you see these kids. I teach fundamentals. That's my thing. So if they get a certain age, I kind of let them move on forward. But you can see what you've taught them is still instilled in them. So I'm very proud about that. Seeing all of these kids that I coached, how they've progressed. And you see, I'm a defensive specialist. So that was one of the things I taught, because those of us that play basketball know you don't necessarily have to be a scorer. But if you can play defense, a coach will play you. Dennis Rodman is a good example of somebody who was a defensive type person, and he's in the Hall of Fame and has 3 or 4, I think 5 championship rings, if I'm not mistaken, 3 with the Bulls and 2 with Detroit. So anyway, today we're talking about Joe Biden and his continued middle finger to Black people, and giving us nothing more than symbolism. Now, if you guys have been following me on the Dimitri K Show, where I'm a contributing producer there, Dimitri K and I on the podcast, we were talking about this very, very issue in regards to Joe Biden and his pledge to nominate a Black woman. Okay, he made a pledge to nominate a Black woman to be his VP. How did that work out for Black people? How did that work out for us? Yeah, she's the VP. Woo-hoo! Yeah, woo! Kamala ski-wee! But that's nothing more than symbolism. Okay? So now, because he made another promise of symbolism, because like I said, having a Black face does not put money in my pocket. It does not change the dynamics of police shooting me or my children down in the street. You got Jim Crow Clyburn talking about we don't need qualified immunity if it's going to get my white benefactors they money. We can take that out. 83 years old. Do you really think he cares if qualified immunity is going to be in a bill or not? He's not going to be around long enough, right? So if you're listening to this, please, you guys, thank you guys again. Please like, share, and subscribe. My name is Donovan Sadiq. I am the recovering Democrat. And a lot of you Black people out there, you guys need some therapy. You guys need to be in recovery too. It makes no sense that you keep voting for a party that keeps giving you the middle finger and does nothing for you that is tangible. Okay. Juneteenth, we didn't ask for that. Asians got what they wanted. Everybody got what they wanted. We haven't got anything that is going to enrich or change substantially our lives. We need tangibles. We need reparations. That isn't something that we want. That is something that we need in order to survive. So if you're listening to this podcast, please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. You can also catch me on Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am on the Dimitri K Show, and we talk about all kinds of stuff that affect the Black community. So if you're here and you want drama with the Tasha K situation and you want celebrity news, this might not be the place for you, because I like to talk about serious and progressive type things. So let's get into it right here. So I'm going to read this article for you guys, and let me quote where the article is from. This is from AP News, and it goes, Biden's vow of black justice, a nod to his most loyal voters. Now, why is it that people know that black people are the Democratic's most loyal voter, Democratic Party's most loyal voter? It says here real quick, as he struggled to survive the 2020 Democratic primary, Joe Biden made a striking pledge before voting began in heavily African-American must-win South Carolina. His first Supreme Court appointment would be a black woman. So a lot of people have been saying, oh, there's this Asian person he's looking at, that's this person he's looking at. No, he's on record. His back is against the wall. I honestly believe that if he had not publicly made that pledge, he wouldn't be nominating a black woman. If he hadn't publicly made a pledge of appointing a black woman as a VP, Kamala Harris would not be where she's at. And remember, Kamala Harris outright called this man a racist. But everybody seems to forget that. And lo and behold, look at how she bows down and remains utterly silent in regards to policy and what is being going done. But you have those Biden butt kissers out there and these sororos talk about, we gonna hold them accountable once they get in office, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. How do you hold somebody accountable once they achieve the power? But this is the type of leadership that we get. So there it is. Again, please like and share and hit that subscribe button and join. His first Supreme Court appointment would be a black woman. On Thursday, with his poll numbers reaching new lows and his party panicking about the midterm elections, wonder why he's panicking, Biden turned again to the Democratic Party's most steadfast voters and reiterated his vow to replace retiring Justice Stephen Breyer with the first black woman to serve on the Supreme Court. Now, a lot of you black feminazis are going to come and say, oh, look, there he goes again. He's against black women. He's doing this. He's doing that. No, I'm not against black women. Okay, I love black women. Okay, my mama a black woman, right? Which is kind of stupid trope, but that's what a lot of these black mothers use. Oh, your mama a black woman, so what that's supposed to make everything okay. I don't know what's that supposed to mean, but no, but I do love black women, and that's all I've ever dated predominantly. I've dated other races, but I've never dated a white woman. I can say that. So. No, I'm not against him doing that. The question is, what type of black woman is he going to put on the court? Now, when you're on the Supreme Court, there's 9 justices, so you've got other people you got to worry about. But when this was first announced, I was one of the first people to question, these nominees. Who are these people? 2 of them I know recently got put on the federal bench just last year in the Biden administration. And they throw all these people out, and this is their playbook. And what we have to do, black people, is stay consistently on our shit, okay? We need tangibles. The baby boomers are going daily. Their voter base is shrinking while the millennials and the other groups are growing. There are more and more people turning 18 years old than there are people turning 100, 90, even 80, for Christ's sake. I believe the average age in America now is about 77 years old. It's funny, I think the retirement age is 78. So anyway, it's what kind of black woman they're going to put on the Supreme Court. So unlike a lot of you guys who get your news from, the major news networks, which is kind of bullshit in itself, I go and actually research because I love politics and this is what I do. I breathe it. I talk about it, right? And I bring receipts. So I researched out of these 13 or 14 nominees, including a couple of Asians and other people he threw in there, that they're not going to have a chance because, again, he has to put a black woman on there because he's on record of doing that. And he knows that if he doesn't do that, his numbers are going to tank even more because there has been nothing that Biden has promised, much less to the progressives, much less to black people, that he's ever delivered on. This administration, I would actually think, is more Republican than they are Democrat. You know, with friends like that, you don't need enemies. You know what I mean? It's like they're not even trying. As long as they can give to their corporate donors, they're fine. But yet you've got these older Negroes out here talking about give him time. Everything he wanted to give to people that wanted something, he did it within 45 days of being inaugurated president. And it's kind of like this, and I use this analogy a lot. It's like when you go into a restaurant and you go into the restaurant with your family and then you sit at a table. And I think Malcolm X used something like this as well. Everybody else in the restaurant has been served. They've gotten their food, they're eating, they're talking, they're drinking. Some of them are on dessert. Some of them are even leaving. And you see the wait staff is sitting there on their phones and they're talking and they're chatting and they're, having a good time. The chefs are in the back still doing what they're doing. But, the wait staff and the host, they're just chitting and chatting and you and your family are sitting there. Just because you're in a restaurant, does that mean that you're a diner? Everybody else has been served. There's no other excuse why you can't be served. At least take our order. We're not even getting that. And that's how the Democratic Party has been treating the black vote and black people. They have every excuse in the world why we can't be served. Everybody has cut in the line in front of us, yet we still can't be served. And once they've cut in the line, they've been served and they go on their way. There's nobody else in the line but us. And we can't get service. Why do we continue to support these people? And you got some Negroes that will sit there and tell you, well, y'all don't know politics. Y'all don't know anything about politics. See, we got to get more Democrats in there because, the Democrats is for the working man. The Democrats is for the working man. I challenge anybody to show me where, since the 1960s, has the Democratic Party been for the working man. The Republican state legislators all over this country has gone around breaking up unions. I don't see Democrats fighting for the unions. I don't see it. But you keep telling me that they're for the working man. Nancy Pelosi has millions of dollars in stock options through her husband and all this other stuff, insider trading. And yet she says, well, it's a free market, when that's clearly a conflict of interest. We keep getting fed symbolism. So I did my homework on these jurists. And what I found was more than half of them are married to white men. And let me be the first to tell you guys, and do not get this twisted, because you got the feminazis that are going to say something. I am the first person to say, love who you want to love. I don't give a damn. That has nothing to do with it. When I see a black man with a white woman, I have the same kind of reservation that I would if I saw a black woman with a white man. But you know what? Love who you want to love. Why should you be happy, right? You know that trope? Yeah, he married a white woman. Yeah, why should he be? I always tell black women, why should he be happy? Yeah, you're right. Why should he be happy? Same thing. If a black woman marries a white man, why should she be happy? Goddamn right. You're right. She shouldn't be happy. But in the dynamics of man to woman, a man is the head of the household, supposedly, okay, in a traditional family. And I have a lot of friends that are international. I was in the military. You guys, those of us that are in the military, we spread democracy wherever we go. And there's a lot of interracial marriages within the military from people from different cultures. And that's a great thing. And some of my friends, I was raised in Okinawa, which is in Japan. And so a lot of my friends are half Asian, half black, half Asian, half white, or whatever. Even some of them are just straight Asian, right? Now, fast forward 30, 40 years, we're adults. And I would see some of their children and I'd be like, wow, look at their kid, and it's great to see them. It's great to see them. But I happen to know those kids are half Asian, half Okinawan, half Korean, half Singaporean, whatever you want to call it, half Thai. And they don't speak the language. The grandma speaks the language, the daughter speaks the language, but the kids don't speak the language. I think that's a disservice to the children. Or is it that the father doesn't want that being spoken? You know what I mean? Or maybe it wasn't important, okay? But if that side of their family isn't important, why should the American side be important? Why should the white side be important? I have yet to run across, it's very rare for me, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, where I ran across a black man married to an Asian or an other, and the other side isn't also taught. It's very, very rare. I haven't ran across it that I'm aware of. So if I'm a woman and a black woman and I have a white husband, would I want to do things to offend his white side or my mixed children? So would that make me aggressively pro-black, or would that make me progressive if my husband is conservative? So I know people are going to say right now, well, there's 9 jurists, so their person up there really doesn't matter. They're just one vote or whatever, right? But we see how Clarence Thomas has ruled. He's married to a white woman insurrectionist supporter. Every time there's a black issue or issue that would be decisive in regards to black people, Uncle Clarence Thomas always votes against it. He's on that bench for life. So would you call Uncle Clarence Thomas symbolism? The civil rights era, one thing that they loved is symbolism. They loved seeing, they thought that if you saw a black face somewhere, that's going to make all the difference in the world. And as we know, being their children and grandchildren, that's not true. That's not true. So half of these jurists have white husbands. And my question to you guys is, like I said, I'm not an authority. I just go by what I know from my life experience. And I happen to know in my life experience is when I see a person married to, especially our black women, married to white men, they are not as vocal as a black woman would be in regards to being married to a black man. They're not as vocal. When they are married to other groups, they are not as vocal. You know, and why is that? You know, hundreds of thousands of reasons. You know, white men are financially more advanced than black people, not because they're this genius that they pulled themselves up there by their bootstraps, but because they lived off the blood, sweat, and tears of black people's ancestors. You know, whenever somebody uses that analogy, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, I say the exact same thing to them. Why don't you do the same? Because you didn't do it. I always challenge people that challenge me. If we were on an even playing field, I would smoke your ass like you're a Marlboro cigarette pack. Like you're like a goddamn pack of Cools. I would smoke your ass. You can't compete with me on an even playing field. So I'm going to challenge you guys to look at these women's judicial record. And there's one in particular, and I'm going to read that, is, and let me go on to read it. The striking promise is a reflection of black women's critical role in the Democratic Party and the growing influence of black women in society. It's also a recognition that black women have been marginalized in American politics for centuries, and the time has come to right the imbalance of a court made up entirely of white men for almost 2 centuries. A change, Biden said Thursday, is long overdue. Okay, where have black men been in politics? We had one black president who isn't a fundamental black, and they act like black men have been, you know, rolling into politics for years. We've had Shirley Chisholm. We got to get away from this narrative, which is total bullshit, that like black men are doing something on their own. We never had the power And I'm not making excuses. Show me where black men have had the power to do anything. Where? We've been in this struggle together. And we've got to start telling the truth about that. We've been in the struggle together. Shirley Chisholm, I can go on. Barbara, what's her name? Jordan, down in Texas. We're talking about in the 60s and 70s. These were powerful black women. Harriet Tubman. I mean, we could go on and on and on about being in the struggle with these various names together. Coretta Scott King, right there near her husband. Betty Shabazz, right there near her husband. Angela Davis with the Panthers and the Black Power movement. We can go on and on and on. Stop with this bullshit narrative of blame the black man because this isn't happening. Show me where a black man has ever been in power to do something. If anything, there are more women in politics today than there are black men. And let's look at their areas where they control. How many of you guys have heard about the young black girl that was thrown away like trash on the 110 freeway here in LA? Nobody seems to talk about that. How many of you guys know that where that area where that girl was thrown away is near Maxine Waters' district? How many of you guys know that? Has Maxine Waters made a statement in regards to that woman, that young girl who was doing sex work? The system. I get so tired of people talking about, we need more black people to do this. No, we don't. We don't need more black people. We have black people already in place. And what do they do? Which is where I tie this back to in regards to these justices. Putting a black woman on the Supreme Court is going to do what? Clarence Thomas is on the Supreme Court. What does it do? Well, he's just one man. He can't do nothing. Let me tell you something. If I'm a Supreme Court person, I can write books. I can write legal opinions to law schools if asked my opinion on a certain thing. I've never even found a record of Clarence Thomas in dissension with the Breonna Taylor case, the Sandra Bland case, the Trayvon Martin case, the George Floyd case. Just his own personal opinion. They're silent. We have black people in positions, and it's nothing more than symbolism, because if it really meant anything, you guys, why doesn't the culture change? All of the major cities in this country, let's go A cities. Now consider A cities, cities like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta. Major cities, okay? Seattle, big cities, Portland, all have had at one time or near one time black police chiefs. So let's go to B cities, and A city, San Francisco. Let's go to B cities. Cities like Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's go to, not San Antonio, I would consider that a big city. Gulfport, Mississippi. Let's, a little smaller cities, okay? But big, but small. Let's go to those cities. Police chiefs all up in these cities. Has the police culture changed at all? You've had a black president. A black president. What changed? I challenge anybody. What has changed? You've had actual black mayors, male and female, who are supposed to be in charge of the police department. What's changed? You get symbolism. That's the utmost definition of symbolism. The black boule keeps taking all of these losses and all of these things. Have you noticed they've been silent? they look like damn fools talking about ski-wee, we got the vote, and ski-wee, we got the vote. Where are y'all at now? I have a friend of mine who keeps taking L's. You know, it seems to me he loves taking L's. And I'm batting 1,000. I'm 10 for 10. And yet he's still making excuses of why the Democratic Party does not deliver for Black people. So that's my issue. You know, we have a Black vice president who is silent after calling Joe Biden out during the Democratic primary debate, talking about, I was that girl. Isn't that what she said? I was that girl that got bust under your policy. I was that girl. Isn't that funny how she plays the victim and the poor Black girl until he gave her a job? Oh, so that makes everything all right. Oh, don't worry about it now. She outright did everything but call this man a racist on live national television. And then he offered her a job and everything is hunky-dory. And by the way, she's married to a white man. Isn't that strange? Aren't you guys intellectually curious as to why Joe Biden and the Democratic Party keep selecting people that have questionable, how would you say it? Questionable credentials. Can I say that? They have questionable credentials. Questionable credentials. These people have no record of fighting for Black issues. They have no record of being unapologetic in regards to Black people. They have similar Black stories. But then somewhere along the line, all of that stops when they get married. Go back and look at their judicial record from the time that these people married these white men to where they're at now, and look at their activism in regards, if they even were active. That's where my curiosity comes from when it comes to these people. So putting these people up there will be nothing more than symbolism. And according to this article, they're saying that the Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party. Well, if that is true, Black women, why are you guys not out there fighting for qualified immunity so your sons don't get shot down in the street and murdered? Why are you women not asking and demanding that the Black people receive reparations to address the issues within our community? We are not talking about people of color. We're talking specifically Black. Foundational Black people, okay? Black people, descendants of slavery, ADOS. We are talking specifically about that, not people of color. Ladies and gentlemen, if a politician starts talking about people of color, walk away from that person. Walk away from that person. Because when you start talking about people of color, then we're talking about all the other groups, which resources are not infinite. Okay, we don't have infinite resources here. Thus, when it comes down to Black issues, reparations, well, what's it going to cost? I think we need to study it. You didn't study $61 billion going to an Indian, $5 Indian tribe. You didn't study that. You didn't study $3 trillion during the COVID crisis. You didn't study that. You didn't study 30-something million dollars going to the Asian community in regards to also being a protected class. You didn't study $300 million going to Afghanistan and bringing 280,000 people who betrayed their country to this country and gave them protected status and all the resources they need in regards to make them a permanent class here in the United States. Only when it comes to Black people do we worry about the cost. What's it going to cost? So black women, since they're putting this shit on you, when are you going to start repping for your own people? When are you going to start repping for your grandchildren, male and female? This young girl here in LA was thrown on the side of the road, of the highway, like trash. Hundreds of black girls go missing every day, and yet we have black female politicians in conjunction with black male politicians that say absolutely nothing about it. I got a question for you. I got a better question for you since we're talking about these female black jurists. Ask these female black jurists, what is their stance on the Breonna Taylor case? What's their stance? Police officers come into a home wrongly and murder a young black woman. Not one officer has been held nor charged for the crime, but we have a dead black girl here. What's their stance on that? Ask these jurists, what's their stance on Sandra Bland? The officer in that case literally walked away with an agreement not to join law enforcement ever again. No jail time. What's their stance on that? Here in California, Kamala Harris was appealed to go by the family of the young girl that went missing for over a year after being released late at night. I can't remember her name right now. Released late at night. And then she ended up being missing, and there seemed to be some police involvement in that because, again, you're releasing a young girl who seemed to have had a mental break with no communication, no nothing, no offering, late at night, in the middle of the night, in canyons. And she ended up, they found her body, a year later. God, I wish I could remember her name right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And they found her body a year later and stuff. And her family appealed to then Attorney General Kamala Harris to do something about it. And she sided with the police, decided to take no action whatsoever. These are black women. These are black skewy women that are married to white men, but aren't seeking justice for even black women. Like I said, I always challenge people to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I am intellectually stimulated, and I want to find out what is going on and what the commonality is to why he is so quick. We know why he's quick to nominate and stand on this with 10 toes, because his numbers are tanking and black people are waking up. So that's why he's nominating. But you got to ask yourself and dig deeper. Look at who he is nominating. He's nominating nothing more than symbolism. These people are going to get up on the court and sit there like Clarence Thomas does. Nigga, sit your ass down and be quiet. Isn't that what Simone Sanders says? We didn't ask for your opinion. So since you black women are running the Democratic Party, what's up? Why ain't y'all pulling up with the goods? All this bullshit narrative that is going on, leveling up, get the bag. Now we have a whole generation of young girls that actually are out here doing prostitution, OnlyFans and all that. What do you call it? They have a prostitution mentality. And I know a lot of you ladies that are listening, you're going to say, oh, well, look, these niggas out here ain't doing nothing, ain't doing that. Who's raising them? But where the father at? You're right. Where is the father? Where is the father? You're right. You're absolutely right. The father, yeah, you're right. The father's missing. But how do you blame a missing father for the shitbag of a son that you continue to raise? How do you do that? My mom's a widow. My mom's a widow. and she kicked ass and raised me and my brother and I to a standard that was acceptable to her based on her father. And she made it a point to surround us with positive influences of men. Thus, we contribute to society. No father around. So what's your excuse, black woman? Oh, the father ain't there. When are you guys going to take accountability? Let's talk about the Democratic Party and black women. When are you black women going to take accountability to black people not getting the tangible, since you're the backbone of the Democratic Party? So let's put the blame where it belongs. You guys are the backbone of the Democratic Party, so you want to take the good but not the bad that comes with that? I see y'all, the Congressional Black Caucus, taking all these damn pictures but have nothing to show for your record. People damn near bit my head off when I showed the record of Joe Biden and Bobby Seale and all of these bootlicks and them not doing anything for black people that they supposedly represent. Why is it that in the black political communities that are controlled by black Democrats, it looks like hell on earth? Why is that? I'm not a Republican. I'm a recovering Democrat. I want to be a Democrat. I'm addicted to being a Democrat because my mama was a Democrat, my daddy was a Democrat, my grandma was a Democrat, my grandfather was a Democrat. I'm addicted to the Democratic Party. But I went and got some help because it made no sense that I am voting for my own oppression. Absolutely makes no sense. Absolutely make no sense. Joe Biden will tell you, oh, well, I'm not Bernie Sanders. I'm not a socialist. But your numbers are tanking because you're acting like a Republican. Your moderate policies and your conservative policies, you're not delivering the goods. That's why your numbers are tanking. Maybe you should be a socialist. Maybe you should cater to the left and the progressives. The progressives gave you guys everything you wanted in the infrastructure bill. Caved. If the progressives don't learn anything, don't do it no more. You're not delivering for your constituents in the Democratic Party. But holding black women accountable for the shit that they do, hey, let's talk on a political level. Since you guys want to be the backbone of the Democratic Party, why aren't you delivering? Why is it that your areas look like hell? Why is it that in those areas, drugs, prostitution is so damn prevalent? Come here to California, go to Beverly Hills and look at the difference. There's no trash in Beverly Hills. Everything is kept up. They're on people's asses. There's no liquor stores on every corner. There's no drug dealers in the street. Don't get me wrong. White people have drug dealers. You know, they're doing that cocaine and all that other good shit. But they're doing it behind closed doors and at parties and, you know, however they do it. Pristine area. 8 miles away from Compton, California. 8 to 13 miles away. The stark difference in the areas. Go to Orange County, California. Go down to San Diego where you have some Republican-held districts. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. And you tell me. I'm the recovering Democrat. I mean, I'm not stupid. So I'm going to challenge you guys to challenge this symbolism that the Democratic Party keeps trying to trick you into doing. How many times are you going to get bent over with no Vaseline and take it in the keister? How many times are you guys going to do that? Doesn't make sense to me. But that's what they still do. And this lady, Childs, who's a big pick from It says Biden's early discussions about a successor to Breyer have refocused on U.S. Circuit Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, U.S. District Judge J. Michelle Childs, and California Supreme Court Justice Leandra Kruger, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss White House deliberations. Child is a favorite of Clyburn. Uh-oh. She's a favorite of Clyburn, so you know what that means. Fish fry. She's gone to all the fish fries. Here's a man that took qualified immunity out of a bill. And matter of fact, the bill didn't even pass. The bill's been tanked. They haven't even talked about it since. So where are you black representatives, and especially you black women who run the Democratic Party in the background of the party? Why aren't you guys telling Nancy Pelosi you need that bill reissued? There's only 13 votes that separate control of Congress. 13 votes in the House. 13 votes. Congressional Black Caucus is made up of 58 members. 58. Listeners, do the math. If there's only a 13 vote difference in the House and I control 58 members of my caucus, who controls Congress? You see in the Senate, 2 people have basically stopped an agenda of millions of people, things that would help millions of people. 2 people did it. So if I have 58 caucus members in my caucus, who controls Congress? Please explain it to me. The Black Caucus has the numbers. I would go to Nancy Pelosi and say, look, just like the Asians did to get their bill, if you don't, 2 Asian senators, if you do not give us what we want, your agenda is not going anywhere. Your agenda is dead on arrival. What did they do? They voted it in overwhelmingly. I have 58 members. 58. Nancy, if I do not get a reparations bill, we can't even get a goddamn study. If I don't even get that, your shit's dead on arrival. Simple as that. But no, we love the massa. We love oppression. The baby boomers have gotten theirs. Again, 75% of all wealth in the black community is controlled by my parents' generation, which is the baby boomers. Ask yourself this question. Intellectually stimulate yourself. Intellectually question things. If 75% of our wealth is controlled by the baby boomers, then why is it that their descendants aren't doing well? How is that possible? The next generation should do better. Or is it that the baby boomers are so damn selfish that they think they're going to live forever? Well, you guys, all I can do is put the word out there. You've got jurists that have been nominated to the Supreme Court that are married to white men. Is that a problem? I don't know. Is it a problem? I am not sure. It could be. I'm Donovan Sadiq. I'm having some audio problems right now. But something to think about, you guys. I think it's very troubling. More symbolism, and black women love it. They love more symbolism. Hey, don't forget to check me out. I'm on the Demetri K Show Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I am right here doing the Donovan Sadiq podcast. Please join me as we have a stimulating conversation. Also, if you got the chance, please like, share, and subscribe. We're just trying to have a discussion about what's going on. Things need to change because we're running out of time. We are, if not already, a permanent underclass. And once you become permanent, it means exactly that. Permanent. I'm Donovan Sadiq, the recovering Democrat. Some of you guys, go get some help. All right, we'll see you guys again next week. TV antennas in the back.